The hydraulic robot arm is one of the two hydraulic activities in the determining and defining the criteria unit. You will use corrugated plastic to make the parts and hot glue and nails to assemble them. The materials are shipped with the parts for the can crusher, so you won't need everything seen here. The printable templates can be found in the Student Activities section online. You will need to print these so students can cut them out to make their parts. Each part is labeled with a letter and a number. Students will need to transfer these labels as they trace the parts. The letter indicates which section of the arm it will be used for, and the numbers indicate the order. The A parts will be used to build the base, the B parts will be used to build the arm, and the C parts are for the claws. If you want to save some time, print your templates on cardstock. That way, once your first class cuts them out, your other classes can reuse them. If you really want to save time, starting a few weeks out, have your fast students prep the parts as they finish other activities early. Before we start, I review how to safely use hobby knives and my expectations for movement in the classroom when the knives are being used. If you're uncomfortable with having students use knives throughout the room during the entire process, you can create a designated cutting area once the initial parts have been cut out. A limited number of knives will be placed on a table to the side, and students will bring their parts over when they need to trim something or cut a hole. Students have access to the videos that will show them how to build each step. When I first started using this activity, I would present a few steps at the beginning of class and then let them loose to complete those steps. This helps you control the process and is a good introduction if you don't have time to build your own before you try it with your class. Now when I do this project, I just let them work through the entire build independently. I quickly notice that some of my groups are flying through it, and I use those students as experts to help my slower groups. This activity has a lot of parts, so to help keep my students organized, I have them keep their different lettered parts in plastic cups and put everything inside of a plastic shoebox container. A few sandwich and gallon-sized baggies will do the trick too. Students will brainstorm possible payloads for their hydraulic arms, but you'll probably want to have some options on hand. You'll need items that are light and sit a few centimeters high. I use toy soldiers and some little candy buckets. A lot of your middle schoolers have stuff like this at home that they can bring in and usually let you keep them at the end of the project. When students finish their arms, the design brief has them create a testing course. I take this one step further and have them also write a set of directions to complete the testing task. To prep them for this, I give each group a folder of directions I copied from various items, like other kits in the room or even ramen noodles. Students read over and look for commonalities, like how the directions are organized, numbered, or have images to support the steps. We use these as models for the directions that they'll write. This process forces them to modify their arms in a way that they can perform consistently while getting them to do some basic technical writing. Peers attempt to complete the tasks by following the directions and give the other students kind, helpful, and specific feedback before I grade it. Finally, we use our hydraulic arms to compete in a head-to-head speed competition with a course that I set up. If you have time, a double elimination bracket will inspire your kids to make some pretty unique modifications.